Hello everyone, a very good afternoon, and it was being a great honor to be the part of this international conference. Let me introduce myself. My name is Pradeep Pera, and I work as an outreach coordinator at Eat Kind India campaign at Farm Animal Protection Department at Humane Society International India. So before starting my presentation, I would like to share a few words about our esteemed organization, Humane Society International India. So, Humane Society International India, HSI India, is the Indian chapter of Humane Society International, which is one of the world's largest animal protection organization across the world. So, HSI works globally across 40 plus countries. In India alone, uh, we work with different multiple verticals of animal welfare. We work with issues concerning to farm animals. We work also issues concerning to companion animals. We also work issues concerning to wildlife. We also respond to natural disasters that might affect animals. Our main mission is celebration of animals and confronting cruelty. Our vision is to have a clean, green, and sustainable world for humans, animals, and environment so that they can live with coexistence. So today I'm going to talk about the social work engagement in sustainable food production systems. Today we live in a world that is completely unsustainable. The food we eat, the water we drink, which is extremely contaminated. And now from the past few years, we have been facing a lot of climate changes in terms of uneven rainfall, uneven weather patterns, which has also affected our food sustainability systems, and which also in turn brings a lot of socio-economic problems such as poverty, hunger. So these have put the importance of sustainable development goals. So now, if you can see, food is a fundamental aspect for every individual. So if you can see globally, 800 million people suffer from hunger problems. In India alone, as per WHO reports, one third of the children are stunted, one in five children suffer from malnutrition, and 51.4% of the women at the reproductive ages are anemic. And we have the children are also underweight. And why India being an agrarian country, why we are not able to feed the why only one section of people are able to afford the food, and whereas the other section of people are not able to afford one meal a day. Why? Before the industrial revolution, we used to raise animals in pastoral farming methods, where the animal have got an opportunity to graze freely, and also they where the animal has got opportunity to exhibit their natural behaviors. And most of the food we eat during pastoral farming methods is which is naturally farmed, which is free from chemicals. But later on, the rapid urbanization and globalization, and also the rising income levels of middle class population, which has increased the demand for meat and dairy. So this has undoubtedly shifted the traditional way of farming methods to most modernized and sophisticated way of farming, which we call as concentrated animal feeding for operations or factory farming or industrial animal agriculture. So let me share my screen once. So as I said that hunger is a major problem in India. So this was the top undernourished countries, and India was one of the topmost country, which was about 194.6 million population suffer from hunger. Now it has been increased. And we talk about global hunger index report also. We say that global hunger index report has been improved. But why we are not able to feed the growing population? And every year we see that about 80.3 billion animals are just raised for our food consumption, And these animals are not raised naturally. They have been raised artificially in the factory farm settings. And in around 80.3 billion animals, 60 billion chickens are from 60 billion are chickens. In India alone, if you can see this, the house in the picture, if you see that the hens have been confined in a housing system, which we call as battery case, because the arrangement of rows and columns, it's identical like arrangement of rows and columns, and this length and width is less than A4 size sheet of a paper. Imagine if we stand on a A4 size sheet of a paper, how much time we can stand? Possibly for 1 hour. For me, it is less than 60 minutes because we cannot stand, right? For 60 minutes, we feel the pain. But how about these animals? They have been confined so cruelly and they are not able to spread up their wings, and they have been uh, not provided sufficient food and water, and they have been trade selected. Normally, a hen lays around 1 to 2 eggs per day, but in the factory farms, around 125 eggs every day. Like most of the eggs have been produced, and they are not. Most of these, if you can see that as I said, they are trade selected. So these hens are fed with a lot of antibiotics. So as a matter of fact, the improper use of antibiotics, which will not only affect the hen's health, it will also affect our human health as well. And when you talk about environmental aspect, so animal agriculture accounts for about 14.5 to 16.5 greenhouse gas emissions. This is far more uh, high when compared to a lot of vehicular emissions as per UN reports also. So now if you can see the area like water we talk about, like we treat as water we treat as a valuable source, right? But in the world, did you know that only 3% of the water has freshwater lakes? And if you can see in the picture, like water has been contaminated because of the uh, improper animal waste, and they have been mixed up with a lot of toxics such as nitrous oxide and ammonia. And what happens is this animal waste, which has been mixed up with water, this has been diverted into nearby water bodies such as lakes and rivers. So the people who are living to the proximity or happens to be the below poverty line people who don't have the safe access to drinking water. So they suffer from lot of waterborne illnesses such as cholera and typhoid, and also fluoride issues, because the water has the highest concentration of pH values. Now, when we talk about cattle, we treat cattle, we worship them during the festivals, but at the same time, during the recent years, the farmers, smallholder farmers, they are not able to feed them. So, because of the lack of fodder availability. So, what happens is they sell this cattle to the slaughterhouses. Now, if you can see in the picture how brutally they have been transported, most of them have collapsed. And if you can see that one person is standing on the cattle which was fell on the ground, and you can see that lot of waste, lot of waste has been spread over there, and most of them have been tied. They have been nose roped, and they have been separated from the calves. And confining these animals at one place, which will also affect the animal health, because if it has got any diseases or infections, undoubtedly it will transmit to other animals too, and it is also a potential hazard to, because it will also affect the public health too. And now this is the condition of a slaughterhouse. You can see that there is a piles of blood spill over there, and you can also see that there are a lot of manure. Previous days, we used the manure for raising the crops, as the manure works as a natural fertilizer. We don't need any pesticides or herbicides. But now this manure, if we can use it for the crops, means it will substantially decreases the crop productivity, and it will also affect the people health because crops which are grown from this animals waste, which has highest amount of ammonia and toxic gases. And at the same time, if you can see that there is a stray dog which is feeding on the flesh of a dead animal. For example, if the animal have got any infections, they says for example rabies. Every year, India alone, 59,000 people die due to rabies. Most of them talk about dogs, but they don't talk about what was happening behind. Why the dogs are becoming a carrier for rabies? They don't have to discuss about it. They don't realize that this is the because of improper animal waste management, improper handling of animals, and improper treatment of animals, and intensive animal agriculture. And this was the report by Human Society International, which has identified that intensive animal agriculture could spark the next pandemic. And there is a growing importance that we need to go shift to the most sustainable food production systems. And if you can see that COVID-19 has taught us that we need to take care of our nature, environment, and also at the same time, we also need to take care of animal welfare aspect too. There are a lot, not only COVID-19. As per WHO, 70% of new emerging diseases are all from animal originated, and most of them are animals confined in intensive confinement, like factory farms and slaughterhouses. And this is a research from numerous scientific bodies like Eat Lancet Commission and Harvard School of Public Health, which has clearly stated that high consumption of animal products increase the risk of certain types of cancers. And in the 21st century, the food in the Anthropocene represents one of the greatest health and environmental challenges. And intensive animal agriculture not only affect animal health, our environment, and our health, but it also affect the social. It is also a social problem because for raising of these animals in intensive confinement, 30% of land has been required. So every year, the 30% of agricultural land has been taken from smallhold farmers. These smallhold farmers, raising 2 to 3 varieties of crops, they have lost their livelihood and they have been forced to migrate to nearby towns and cities where they have been forced to work under very harsh conditions. They don't have proper equipment and they don't have gumboots. They have been constantly exposed to nitrous oxide, ammonia, and also their family in order to sustain for themselves. The children also forced to work on this under these harsh conditions. This is also child labor because a child instead of going to school is working in poultry farms because of this intensive animal agriculture practices. Now, we at Human Society International India, we help the individuals and also academic institutions to understand the impact of animal agriculture and the environmental footprints. As I said, that animal agriculture accounts for 14.5 to 16.5 greenhouse gas emissions. This was stated by WHO and UN. And so we explained about the potential impact of animal agriculture, and we explained about the better animal welfare practices in terms of farm animal welfare, and we also provide them the plant-based food sources. That means sustainable food sources. So we at Human Society International India, we work with food and hospitality industries to increase the availability of plant-based options on menus. For the past 1 year, we have worked with several food businesses in India, which led to commitment to replace at least 30% of the current meat, dairy, and egg menu options with plant-based alternatives. So one of the main aim is to mainstream plant-based food because the plant-based foods are nothing but the food we eat. Most of the majority of them, excluding meat and dairy, are all plant-based. And by increasing the demand for the plant-based food and offering the lesser rate, which will than the animal ones, which will undoubtedly promote the food sustainability and also save a lot of our environment. So this is was one of the outreach which we performed during the post pandemic, before pandemic. we approached a lot of institutions through our individual outreach. This was from IIIT Basar, where we explained students about the intensive animal agriculture, how it impacts our environment, and also the need for sustainable food production, like shifting our diet to plant-based source. And also we have also uh, explained about the 15 animal laws that every citizen of India has to be aware of. And we also make them to sign the ban battery case petition, requesting Honorable Prime Minister to end the ban the battery case egg production in India, so that the animal can have a higher animal welfare standards, and also the smallhold farmer, they can also get benefited, because this intensive animal agriculture is hampering the smallhold farmer livelihood. So, and this was, we work with social work departments during this pandemic. We organized different workshops and webinars, and we are glad to say that we trained around 30 interns in various aspects, such as farm animal protection, farm animal welfare, and also we explain about the potential impacts of animal agriculture on our planet, and about sustainable food production sources and the animal welfare laws through various case studies. And social work plays a prominent role in addressing our society problems. And it is, plays a vital role in creating a better society. As this theme, Ubuntu, I am because we are, strengthening this social solidarity and global connectedness. That means we care for our society. That means how can a good society be possible when we don't have a good environment to live, when we don't have a good food and clean water to drink. So it's high time for social work professions and social work students to shift the protection towards environmental justice, and also farm animal protection, animal welfare. And for a better society, we all need to have a one health strategy, where it needs environmental health, animal health, and human health. It's a tri-sector approach we need to follow for a better society. So there is a growing number of opportunities as well. So with that, I would like to end this presentation. I quote my father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, once said that the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way the animals have been treated. With that, I would like to end this presentation. Thank you. Thank you one and all for giving this opportunity.